Hi gentlemen, this is a longer tutorial that's a step-by-step on how you can use GIMP to carry out your robot transfer / enlargement task. So this video is for those of you who prefer to have a more guided step-by-step instruction on your different areas that you need to look out for, as well as how you can go about it in GIMP. So in your search bar, search for GIMP. So that's your app there. If it's not in your computer like previous videos, just download that from your software center. So let's wait while GIMP is starting up. All right, so this is the app GIMP. That's how it looks like. On the left, you'll see that is all your tools. So for this task, it's just using the move tool. So that's to move objects, the path tool to create lines or strokes for our robot outlines and details, as well as your eraser tool, just so we can erase off errors. Right, so for this stage, we will open a new artboard and go to template, drop down to A3 and click OK. Just click OK on this prompt. And there you have it. So this is your workspace, or it's also called your artboard. On the right hand side, these are actually your layers here. So when you hover your mouse, you see a layer. So this is your layer panel here. With GIMP, you are going to try and use layers to create your robot. This is so that your robot lines are not stuck down permanently on your grid. So you'll see why in a bit later. But before that, let me just teach you to save your file. So as you go with plotting your robot, it's a good habit to always keep saving your working file, just so that you know that you have saved the changes. Locate where you want to put your working file at. And you can type in task 1, robots, enlargement, and your name at the back. So just make sure that your extension at the back, that's XCF, okay? So that is your working file version of your GIMP. So you know that your layers will be kept later. All right, and then just click save. So this file will be saved and your name is just up the top here. So each time you make a few certain strokes, be in the habit of going to File, Save. Okay, it's just so that we keep saving our progress. Other than that, you can use the keyboard shortcuts, Control and S. So that helps to save it as a shortcut. Right, for now we will import the A3 blank grid in here as one of the layers. So it'll sit just on top of the background. So let's go to File, open as layers. Look for the grid where you have saved it on your computer. That's my A3 grid, and just click open. So you see on the right hand side here, another layer has appeared. If I were to toggle on the I button here, this will actually toggle on the visibility of that layer. So clicking it off, it means that I can't see that layer. And clicking it on, I can see that layer. Now, if your layer happens to accidentally go all the way down, you will not be able to see it. So your grid does not appear up on the screen. This is because your background is not transparent. So therefore, your A3 grid needs to go up on top. So it should sit nicely on top. Yep, so that's where you can see your grid there. Okay, so apart from your grid, let's create a layer, a new layer. So hover your mouse at the bottom here. It says create a new layer. Just click on that. And let's just title it our middle line. So when we plot our middle line, we'll just work on this layer here. So the checkbox here, it just means that there is a transparent layer. Right, we're going to create also another layer for our robot enlargement. So this is where we will start to draw all of our robots on it. So just click OK. And there you have it, 4 layers over here. And that's just the basic to the setup. Right, so let's plot our middle line now. So just selecting the middle line by clicking with your mouse here, making sure that that is a dark area. So that's how you know that you have selected it. On your grid, let me just zoom in a bit. So that is my zoom tool. And I'll just click on it to zoom forward. And if you like to zoom out, hold on the Control key and click so you'll zoom out. Okay, so just zooming in, there are 36 boxes across. So in order for our middle line to be drawn, 36 divided by 2, that is 18. So we either count 18 boxes from the left or 18 boxes from the right. So I'll just go to my paths tool just so I can get ready to draw my line. So just hovering on path tool, just click that and you know that it's selected. Right, so I'll start to count 18 boxes. 18. So my line should start from here. So I'll just use my mouse and click here. And just click somewhere down the line where you know that it's aligned. So now we are going to extend that line all the way down the page, just clicking and holding onto that. And just dragging it all the way down. Yeah, just so that you know it reaches the end of the page. Okay, if you want to make sure that it's really precise, we can zoom in later to check. Right, but other than that, you can click on any of the circles or the notches that you see here to click and drag to edit the positioning of it. All right, so now with this line here, we need to tell GIMP that we want to add a stroke to it. So that is to go all the way down. We are going to click on stroke path. Make sure this is a solid color. And your line width, maybe we will set it at 3 pixels, so it's not that dark. It's just an indicator that helps us to see. And you can click on stroke. So to deselect this, you just go to Move tool and just click on that. That automatically gets deselected. How can you actually tell that that is a line that's on your grid? You can just click off the A3 grid. So yeah, so you can see that that is your middle line there. You have drawn it really well there. Okay, so at any time you can always toggle on the eyes just so you can see whether you have done it correctly or accurately. So now if you want to check if your lines are good and clean, yeah, so you zoom in, the line sits perfectly on the grid. So that is what you would like to achieve. So I'll just zoom out now. And we're going to start our robot plotting. So before we actually start, make sure you select the robot enlargement layer because that is where you would like to work on for your whole robot design there. Okay, so making sure that you're always on this layer and not on any other layers, because if you do it on the other layers, it might get stuck. Okay, and it's going to be a bit difficult trying to erase them. So always making sure that you are on the robot enlargement area. I need to have my A4 grid with my robot up. So that image, got it here. So that is my image here that I can see how my robot is like. I would probably need to make this bigger and zoom in, just so I can have a clearer look on how my robot is like. So you see how this is the middle line here? Right, so that is the same middle line that we see over here as well. So what we have drawn. So now we're going to start plotting one of the sides. You can start with the left or the right. It's up to you. That's fine. But usually I prefer the left, so I'll just start with the left here. So looking at this line here, my first line, which is the head of the robot, it starts at the bottom edge of this first square here. So that is this line over here. Okay, so carefully, I'm going to make sure that I zoom in, right? And making sure I go on to my path tool. So that is like sort of like a pen. So you click here and a straight line across. So that's on the line there. Same thing, we'll go to stroke. But this time, because we're doing the robot enlargement, we want to differentiate the thickness of the lines. So this one will go a little bit thicker, probably around 5 pixels. That's still solid color, so that's great. And just click stroke. So you see that a darker line will come out from there. So I'll just deselect my stroke by clicking on the move tool. And just to make sure that I've done it correctly, I'll just off my A3 grid. And that looks fine. So you see a thicker line that you have drawn there. If you don't want to see the middle line as well, to just take away that visibility, so you can as well. So it doesn't get stuck with this middle line onto your robot design. Okay, so now I'll just switch on all the other layers and continue with my plotting. So I'll just look at robot here. My next stroke will be a diagonal one that's going to continue from this area. So the tip to doing this is to try and trace out your whole overall image. So that's just going along the outside of it. Slowly work your way around before you actually attempt what's inside the robot. So like his eyes or his mouth. You can leave that all to the last, because I find that by doing your overall shape, you roughly get the hang of the overall form and look of the robot, just so you can double check on that. Okay, so I'll just keep plotting my diagonal line here, same for this one. So I'll go to my move tool and make sure I'm on the robot enlargement layer and continue to do that diagonal line there. And if I'm adventurous, I can just click back to my image. Have a look. The next line, it just goes all the way down by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 boxes down, and my line is going to look straight all the way down. Okay. So from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's all right. I'll just click here. And I can actually extend my line all the way down, because that's 5. Okay, and then I'm going to click stroke just so the dark line is out. Yeah, perfect. And deselect that, and I'll zoom out just so I can see, I can double check what I've done. Right, so you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. So that's the same as my picture here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Correct. Okay, awesome. Next stroke, I'll just connect this all the way down. 1, 2. So you can see that with this diagonal, it's a little bit different. It's spanning across 2 boxes, right? So from this corner all the way to that corner. So I'll do that with my GIMP. So making sure I'm on the robot enlargement layer. Go zoom in. And it spans across here to here. So remember, across 2 boxes. So my path tool on the correct layer. Yes, that's right. And going in and clicking here. Click stroke. All the settings are still the same. That's fine. And just click stroke. So you'll probably just get the hang of it once you have like a few strokes coming up in there. Okay. Try to keep your joints as close together as possible so that it is neat in that sense. So I'll zoom out to see where is my next stroke. So that's good with the head. So let's do the ear before we continue with the shoulder. So that's there, that it starts off one off from the start of this vertical line that you see here. So here, that's the point that you're looking at, and it goes a diagonal. So here, diagonal. So we're going to do the same. So on my GIMP, I'm just going to click on GIMP, go to Path Tool, making sure I'm on the right layer, clicking here, and my diagonal line. So I'm feeling a little brave right now. I'll just see where my next stroke is. That's just one down and one diagonal back at the side of the head. So let me just do that now. So that's a straight here and diagonal here. So just one straight line down and a diagonal to end it off. So click stroke and stroke. So there you go, your ear there. Let's click on the move tool, click on zoom and zoom out just so we can have a look. So let's bring up our robot picture, and yes, it looks pretty similar over there, so that's great. So let's just carry on with our shoulder area as well. So you can see that the line starts here but spans across a few other boxes. So let's just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it spans across 8 boxes. So just going back to our work, if you want to scroll down and if you want to pan the image, so that's just to move it across the page, click on spacebar and then click and drag with your mouse, and you can hover that to the left or to the right. Okay, once you're done, just let go on both, and with your path tool, so just continuing where we have left off, making sure that's the correct layer. Same thing, putting one dot there, counting 8 boxes, and it goes down to the corner. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's there. Just align it properly. And looking at my image, let's just see, the next line is 1, 2, 3 down. So just plotting that. So that's 1, 2, 3. That's my next line there. Nice. And clicking back to see where is my next line. So it goes outside now, so outwards. That's where our line will just slant towards our left. So how many boxes from one end to the other? So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that line is going to end somewhere here. I'll just click that. Okay, I'll try not to make the line too long. So I'm just going to click stroke and stroke, just so our line will come up. Click zoom, click on control and click with my mouse. So just to zoom out a bit to check on my overall shape. So that looks perfect there. So just to double check, 3, perfect. And 5 down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, perfect. Okay, so I'm just going to carry on with plotting my other areas around it. So next one, 1, 4. So I have 4 boxes. So from here, I'm just going to zoom it a bit so I'll get it nice and clean. Click on my path tool. That's the correct layer. And go to this point here. Count 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's my end here that I'm going to match it. So there. And then just looking back at my picture. So 2 boxes out to the left. So that's the corner there. 1, 2. Whoops. Okay, so I made a mistake there. I'll just click and drag down. Okay, so that should thereabouts be it. That's the end here. And then it goes across horizontally to my right. So 1, 2, 3. That is 3. So that's 1, 2, 3 on my grid. And I'll click here. So that is this point here. So then 2 up, 1, 2. So that's 1, 2. And this corner here, So you can always double check that. You see these 2 points, they do meet on my grid as well. So over here, so it meets as well. So you don't have to fill in the details as of yet. Just continue to plot your points. So this one is a little bit different. It spans across 2 boxes, and it goes up by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9 boxes tall and 2 boxes wide that I will start to count. So from here, this is the point. That's my point there. I'm just gonna count. So that's 2 boxes across, and I'm gonna count 9 boxes above. So 2 boxes across, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 is gonna be up there. I'll just click here, and then after that, I'll drag it. So I'll click and drag into my point nicely. And at this point, I'll probably just do a stroke, just so it doesn't carry on too long. Click move, go to zoom out, and you can see the overall shape is coming out. So at this point, it's good to do a file save, so it saves your working file. So before that, you'll see an asterisk here if there's a change that has not been saved. That is how you actually know that you haven't been saving your files. Alright, so let's see the next line here. So that is going to span across 2 boxes going to my right. And let's see how tall is it. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this time 10 down. So I'm just going to have a look and pan across. So that is my line. Remember, it goes to the right by 2 and 10 down. So I'm just going to prepare my path tool. Get in nice as well. A good sort of range. I'll just get my pen tool, and I'm going to start from here. So making sure I'm on the correct layer here. Robot enlargement. Clicking there. So it goes down 2 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's see, 9 and 10 here. Okay, so just to double check, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10. Okay, and then just check with my grid. Just so, yeah, so you see how this notch here is just 1 below that one. You can also double check with other notches that you have made. So this is the notch here, over here. And this one just goes down 1. So that's great. So that's how you actually double check things. Okay. It actually turns out white here. That's because white is on the top. So if you find that your lines are disappearing, it might be because of the color. So to undo it, just click on, hold down on Control and Z on your keyboard just to go back out. Flick the colors around. So with this tool here, and then go back to stroke and stroke it. All right, so now you have your perfect stroke there. So I'll deselect it. So you see how the legs has an outer sort of design here. So you can see that it starts off from this point. That's my point there. And it starts from 3 down below. So that's 3 across and 2 down below. 3 across and 2 down below. And you can see that this one, it just sits halfway here. How this is actually constructed is that this line has actually been constructed to this line here. Okay, so once you've done this with pencil, that designer probably just erased it out, so that's why it's just halfway there. So what I say we could possibly do is just to plot a line over here and plot a line over here. So looking at this point where we are at here, we are going to start at this point here. Okay, just so that this point is the same as this point here, so that imaginary line there. Okay, and then it goes down for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 across and down. 1, 2, 3 down. So 5 across and 3 down. So we're going to start here. Remember, 5 across and 3 down. So here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. So that's where my line is going to be ending. Click on that, stroke it, and there. So just double checking my image here. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. So that's all the way down there. So that's how we actually got that line there. Later on, we are going to just erase away some of the lines that you see. So we'll start erasing from here. That's where it starts from. Once you're done with all your outlines, it should look something like this. Just to check that you have all your proportions right. That's okay if you still have lines sticking out. We will just erase that in the later part. Now we're going to fill in the details. So let's just start from the top right again. So over here, you can see that the line here just spans across inside. So making sure you're on the same one, or if you'd like to create a new layer and you can put details, so robot details, that would be great as well. It'll be easier to erase. Go into your picture, that's your slanted line there, and that will go somewhere there. Okay, so going to my path tool, so I'm plotting my line here and here. So my stroke path, if I want to be really accurate, I can just drop it down a notch because my details look a little bit thinner. But if you like to keep it at 5 point as well, that's fine. Okay, so just slowly filling in your details in here. So you can see like this line here as well. You can do that. Bring it up because that stroke looks a little bit thicker. So these are like sort of nice points that you can get along the way for being really detailed in looking at your different thicknesses of the lines. So the next pattern here will be for the eyes. It starts 1 down from this line here. So 1 down, going across 2 boxes. We'll just plot them accordingly. So going back here, go to path tool on the correct layer. That's good. This corner and bring it down. So you can see that the eye, it goes across as well. So let's just plot it from here to here. So it's the same thing, stroke. And if you want to create a 4, so that's the details inside. So that is perfect. And you have your eye there. So now just zooming out to see how it looks like overall. Looks great. Going back to my picture, checking. So now that's the mouth over there. So that's a little triangle from the bottom line here. So the line here looks easier to draw. You can see that this corner here, that's that corner there, and they're just going across. So I'll just draw that line there, going across first, so that can be my guide. Going back here to see how the mouth looks like. So it goes across to up. So it will end around here. That's that point there. So I will go to my path tool, click on the point, goes across, down below, and up. So because it can't join, that's all right. I can just stroke that path first, deselect it, and then go to my path again and down. So just stroke that. Perfect, deselect it, and I'll zoom out just to have a look. So I can compare that with my robot here, and it looks really perfect. Right, so this is just like the basic idea of how you can fill in your details. It's the same way as plotting your outlines. So you can always use that same method and plot it for the rest as well. So just filling in all these details here on how they actually connect. So you can see this one's really easy from point here to point here. And I believe that it should be all right and smooth for you to run from here. So just make sure that you do a save. So that's the asterisk that you see here, that the file isn't saved. So go to File, Save. So each time that you make a change, it's good to keep practicing to have that in mind. Once you are done with the whole thing, go to File, Export. Select where you want your JPEG to be. So your JPEG is to put it into your visual diary or to upload your final file to Masscom. So going to desktop, you can type in the same name, but at the back, make sure that that is JPG. So that's JPEG for short. How you can toggle with that, go to select file type by extension, scroll down and look for JPEG. So yeah, JPEG image, that's the one. Click and select and click export. So quality is fine to put at 90. You don't have to touch the rest and just click export. So because I've located it on my desktop, so just seeing desktop, search for my JPEG file, and there you have it. So that's the one over there. Right, thank you very much for watching this video, and I hope that it's been really helpful in helping you with your task.